the St. Joe County, they don't really normally get.
Well, they got big acts and they lost money on them every year, so they stopped doing it. They lost quite a bit of money with Reba McEntire and with Alan Jackson. All right, I think we're ready to start. The lights just flicker. Good afternoon, everyone. We have 3 probation violation hearings and arraignments scheduled. Some are hearings and arraignments, some are arraignments, and some are hearings. But we'll deal with all of them. Now that Casey Strong is here, we're ready to begin. We've learned that she's never been to the fair. She's not ever been not to the fair. She's never been to any fair. So I guess we failed in our education when she was working here. Let's take your case first, Mr. Gibson, what you get on your way. I don't believe your client is going to show up. This is file number 25108SM. People versus Keith Caldwell. This was all Judge Pattison case. The defendant was charged with domestic violence and indecent exposure. Judge Pattison did a pre-sentence report. Judge Pattison did a sentence in June, and he deferred 316 days of jail. Matt Huff has filed a probation violation, alleging that the defendant has violated their probation by not violating any law of any criminal any unit of government. He's charged with a new 2-count resisting and obstructing complaint, which was set for pre-exam on Tuesday, which would be yesterday, and he failed to appear for that. Also alleged he failed to abstain from the use of drugs and alcohol and failed to abstain from assaultive or threatening behavior, which was part and parcel of the new charges. Also, there's a concern that he has been engaged in assaultive behavior with a complainant in the first case. Mr. Huff is recommending that the balance of the deferred jail, 316 days, be utilized. Anyway, he is not here. He was here for an arraignment that Judge Pattison did when I was at the judges conference in August. He set both the PV and the PV hearing, I don't understand, for the same time, and asked if I would take the case, which I said I would, but the defendant isn't here. Have you had any contact with him?
I know that I talked to him on the phone. Let's see. It looks like that I talked to him back on August 25th, and he was made aware of the upcoming court dates. And I know that I sent him a text message last week reminding him that he had court on Tuesday. Yes, he had court yesterday for circuit court, and I did try to call him the Friday before, and I was not able to reach him by phone, but I did send him a text message. So I do believe that he had notice of both the hearing for yesterday and the hearing for today. I don't know where he's at. I did check Vine to see if he possibly could be in another jail. He did mention that he had another case.
Yes, he mentioned, I wasn't clear, but he had another case somewhere.
But
anyway.
Vine doesn't show that he's anywhere else, but I guess I don't know for a fact that that's up to date. So
I'm gonna do a bench warrant, no bond, no 48-hour hold. There should already be a bench warrant of work from yesterday. We need to get him in here and figure out what we're gonna do. From the report in the earlier case, the bond report, it sounds like he was on the edge. And I'm not sure where he is, but I think we need to catch up with him and figure out what to do. Anyway, Mr. Gibson, you're good to go. If he contacts you, he needs to turn himself in at the jail. There's a bench warrant with no bond. He's got a large amount of jail hung over his head as a deferred sentence. And he's got a new charge pending. You mentioned that he failed to appear for a status conference. Did you mean the pre-exam conference? And yet, or does he have a case also bound over?
Let's see here. I think that you're right. I think I meant a pre-exam conference.
Oh, yeah. He didn't show up Tuesday for the pre-exam. I thought I'd copied that case.
It's 25-16-43 FY, it looks like, was the one that he didn't show up for. And I guess I mixed that up with the circuit court case that's already bound over.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we've got two other matters. Ms. Strong represents Edward Bird Becket, and that is set for an arraignment today. And we'll take that one up.
That should be set for hearing, Your Honor.
All right.
We've already had the arraignment back in August.
Oh, August 13th, yes. I don't know why. Well, that was today, but yes, it is. Both of these are, and again, they were both done by Judge Pattison at the arraignment and set for when I was available. Do we know what we're doing with Mr. Bird Becket?
He's going to admit violation.
All right, Ms. Bond, do we know what we're gonna do with
I
her?
think it's a little more complicated than that.
All right, well, let's take Mr. Bird Becket and then we'll deal with Ms. Bond, who's been AWOL for a year. Good morning, sir. You Edward Bird Becket. Daniel, why don't you come up? This one, oh, this is Autumn. Here's this case.
Yes, I am.
All right, this one was tough. The defendant was charged with operating while intoxicated as a subsequent offense. We considered him for sobriety court. Autumn Kiefer is his probation agent and did a lot of work on this case. He certainly needed our services, but his employment as a union contractor just made it not really feasible for him to participate in our program. His job sites move from place to place. Sometimes they were far away. The job paid well, but basically Mr. Bird Becket didn't like being on probation much. Autumn Kiefer is here and she filed a probation violation alleging that he has failed to report on a monthly basis. We kind of lost track of him. I think he went to California. I'm not sure. Anyway, that is the allegation. According to the status report, I think we last saw him in March. Is that correct, Autumn?
No, Your Honor, he last reported initially before the probation violation arraignment was in May.
In May.
Since then, we did see each other and speak at the last hearing, and then he did make contact with me again yesterday, inquiring of his attorney's contact information.
All right, so he's back in contact with you.
He has been, yes.
All right. And what's your recommendation?
I did update the status report this morning. I went over that with Ms. Strong. As you indicated, Mr. Bird Becket just doesn't want to be on his probation. He had completed inpatient rehab. I had requested assessments from there. I have yet, as of today, to receive those. He did obtain another assessment through a therapist in Kalamazoo, but he stopped going to that gentleman as well. He's just too busy for this probation is what I feel. This probation for him is a nuisance. I even tested him at the last hearing and it came back negative diluted. So I wasn't even able to get a good specimen at that point. My recommendation at this point is to have him pay the remaining fines and costs. He's been on probation this month for 13 months and to unsuccessfully discharge him.
Mr. Bird Becket, you have a right to have a hearing on this matter, where it must be established by at least a preponderance of evidence that you violated your probation. You have a right to have an attorney at that hearing, and you asked for such a hearing, and we appointed Ms. Strong, and she's here now. You also can simply acknowledge the violation that you failed to report, and then I'll proceed to sentencing. The recommendation is that we simply discharge you from probation, you pay the balance that's owed. The original sentence had a large amount of jail deferred. So we're going to talk about that. You were very intoxicated at the time of your arrest. I think 3 times the limit, 2.6 something. One option was a treatment program. The other option was this probation. And it was an inconvenient nuisance for you. Ms. Strong, what's your client wish to do?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've spoken with my client numerous times regarding the recommendation, regarding the change in the recommendation, and to address some of the concerns that Ms. Kiefer raised about his participation in the program itself. At this time, he is acknowledging that he did fail to report on a monthly basis. We have signed the probation violation advice of rights, and I've had a discussion with Ms. Kiefer regarding possible outcomes that could be fashioned for Mr. Bird Becket. So he does intend to admit at this time.
All right, Mr. Bird Becket, you acknowledge you did not continue to report to your probation agent.
Yes.
And why is that? She was
working
fearful
night
that you
shift.
just moved back to California.
No, Your Honor, I did not go to California.
Did you go for the graduation?
No, she didn't end up walking the ceremony.
Uh-huh.
I went to the night shift at my job, and I was working 6/10s minimum, sometimes 7/12s. I have pay stubs to reflect all of that. No, I've been here in Marshall working the entire time.
Are you still at the Blue Oval
Yes.
project?
Yes, I am. In fact, I'm wearing a blue oval shirt under this one.
Well, depending on who you ask, they either think it's the greatest thing or the worst thing that come to Marshall. I don't know.
I'm working on the power plant for the plant.
Oops.
And when I went to night shift, I just lost track of days. I didn't leave anywhere. In fact, I haven't had a whole weekend off, and I'm not sure how long. Well, this holiday weekend, but before that. Roughly 60 hours minimum. And I working nights, I just lost track. I've since gone off of night shift because I couldn't handle it, but I'm still there.
All right.
I was there this morning.
In the original report that says conviction, Case Schaefer, I don't remember where his prior conviction was.
California.
Ms.
That's
Strong,
3 or 4 years ago now.
it was 2021. You did complete that probation. Ms. Strong, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask the court to consider the fact that Mr. Bird Becket has been on probation for a significant amount of time. This is his first official petition for a probation violation. He has indicated to me that he is prepared in the next week or two after he receives his next paycheck to pay the balance of his probation oversight fee and fines and costs in full. I would ask the court to see the fact that he does have a full-time employment. That employment is very important to himself and his family and being able to support his family. And if he were to serve a significant chunk of jail, which it seems that the probation officer is no longer asking for, that he would possibly lose that employment and be back in a situation that could trigger a relapse. He did complete some inpatient rehab that he can speak more to as well. He has tried
I wasn't
to-
clear about that. You had some treatment, you had a girlfriend who was given treatment. One issue is people that work projects like this, construction guys, trade people, they're at a plant painting it or building it or doing electrical or plumbing. They work very hard all day. They go to the bar, then they go to sleep, then they get up, do it all over again the next day.
Quite honestly, I don't have time for that.
All right,
I
well,
wouldn't be able to make it to work.
do you have time to do the balance of 82 days of jail that I originally
I
ordered?
do not.
Yeah, this is,
But
you were running your own program, as Judge Noacker used to say. You were passed out drunk in the parking lot at Home Depot.
yes,
They took you to the hotel. They didn't arrest you. They took you to the hotel, said, don't drive anymore. Go sleep it off. You walk right back out in your truck and get in it and take off, drunk, and they arrest you and you're a .262. Now, I'll give you some consideration. You don't have real good judgment when you're very drunk. So the best thing you could have done is gone in there and gone to sleep. That would have been the end of it.
yes.
But you're a danger to me and everybody else who drives. So we couldn't get a good handle on you because you work so much. Tell me about what kind of treatment that you did.
I went to ICFR shortly after that. I believe before I even came back to court. Right after that, I've turned my life around since then. When I got laid off in December, I was having lots of urges. I checked myself back into ICFR.
All right, tell me about, what is ICFR?
That is in Indiana Center for Recovery.
Okay. So sometime in 25, you went back into the inpatient?
24 December, right when I got laid off.
Okay.
But I've been in contact with them continuously. In fact, I talked to Shane from ICFR this morning.
How long were you in there in
alumni
December?
group? I'm in the chat group. I'm very much involved with everything in the alumni services.
How long were you inpatient the second time?
30 days, both
30
times.
days, 32, 30-day stints?
Yes. I,
All right. And when did you have your last drink?
not this year at all.
All right. Sometime in 24.
Sometime in 24.
How much does he owe, Autumn?
$1,057.
He sure works a lot to not be able to pay any money.
Yep.
What's the deal with that?
I'm currently paying for 2 houses, but I can definitely pay with my next check. I paid, last time I was in court, I paid 200 before I left. And I can pay the remainder.
This really is just an inconvenient speed bump in your life. And paying it wasn't important. You went to treatment on your own terms, like it's just better than a poke in the eye. Your car got impounded. How much did that cost you?
I don't remember.
Probably several $100s. So Autumn, what's your thought?
I think we just need to get Mr. Bird Becket off probation. I understand the initial incident. He was 3 times over the legal limit. However, like the court has stated, this is just a nuisance for him. And I can't pull him across the finish line if he feels that he's already gone as far as he's going to go.
Well, he's done 2 30-day inpatient stints. if he's being honest, I don't have a reason to think he isn't. He's been sober all this year. He's on track. If I drop the bomb on him, he's gonna lose his job. He is in the union. There'll be another job at some point, but I'm just offended by his cavalier attitude about it. For our people here on the landlord tenant case, thank you for your patience. For reasons I don't completely understand, they stuck 3 complicated probation violation matters in a 15-minute period between 1 and 1:15, and we're trying to work through those, but we'll be with you in a minute. All right, the probation is revoked. $1,057 due by next Friday, which is September 12th, or 82 days in jail. I'll give you this, you can pay with a credit card. It's funny, when people are put in jail and they have to post a bond to get out, they always come up with the money. If I put you in jail and said your bond to get out is $1,057, you would come up with it and be out by the next day. However, when it's ordered as part of a fine, people don't have any money to pay it. So you're gonna pay it, or you're gonna do 82 days in jail by next Friday, which is September 12th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you don't live here and you don't work here anymore. So I hope I don't see you again, but I hope some other judge doesn't see you either. All right. Good to go.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, the next matter, as Mr. George says, is complicated. Let's discuss that. People versus Kayla Bond. This matter is file 221911 FY. FY stands for felony. This started out as a felony possession of methamphetamine charge. The matter was reduced to a misdemeanor use of methamphetamine, and we lost track of Ms. Bond. She had a probation violation petition filed by Daniel in August of 2024, a bench warrant issued for her arrest for failing to appear at that arraignment. He alleged that she failed to report on a monthly basis, failed to pay fines and costs, failed to abstain from the use of drugs or alcohol or test on demand, failed to participate in treatment as directed. The hearing was set for September 11th to arraign her and discuss that. She didn't show up. I issued a bench warrant for her a few days later, and she got arrested on August 20th, almost a year after failing to appear. So Judge Pattison saw her, and they set the matter for hearing today. I'm not quite up to speed, so let me ask you a couple of questions, if you'll allow, Mr. George. How did you get arrested on August 20th?
Of 23 or
No.
22?
Just last month.
Oh, August 4th. Cass County, I was driving back to where I had came from the gas station. They were sitting on Wood Lake and they were, I'm guessing, waiting for me to drive by because as soon as I did, they flipped their lights. They had no probable cause or no reason to flip their lights on me, but they tried to get me on a fleeing and eluding, but I was doing the safety first. I drove to where I was going to. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't eluding them at all whatsoever. Got out of the car, shut it off, put my hands behind my back. I figured I was going to jail. They were trying to get me on a felony charge for fleeing and eluding, but they got me on a civil infraction instead.
So they pulled you over for this traffic stop and found this warrant.
Yes,
And so that was on August 4th.
yes,
And you spent August 4th to August 16th in Cass County.
yes.
To August 20th, excuse me,
Or
that's when you
20th.
came here. So you were brought from Cass County Jail to our jail.
Yes.
Do you still live on Kessington Road?
No.
We'll get to that in a minute. You were on Wood Lake Road when they pulled you over?
I was driving past Wood Lake when they had pulled me over. I was headed towards Dead Road.
All right, so that's right on the line between Cass and St. Joe County. Okay. All right, with that, Mr. Tim George was your lawyer originally, and he's here with you again today. Your probation agent, Daniel Frazine, is here. As I indicated, Judge Pattison did the arraignment. I don't have an update. Daniel, after she got arrested, did you get a chance to get updated on what's going on?
No, never heard from her, Your Honor.
Mr. George?
Your Honor, as it relates to the hearing, there's 4 violations as listed in the petition. I went through that with Kayla. She's going to acknowledge the failing to report, failing to pay fines and costs, and the failing essentially to test. There's a little bit of confusion as it relates to failing to participate in treatment. Part of the status report indicates that she did not go into the SPA program. And my client had felt like that the landmark program that she had done that was the 21-day had been in place of the SPA program, but I asked Mr. Fraser for the judgment and the SPA program is on there. So it's a little bit confusing, but
I'll accept that. Miss Bond, as I told the last person, you have a right to have a hearing on this. And Mr. George would represent you in the hearing. They'd have to establish beyond a preponderance of evidence that you violated the probation. One of these is not very hard to prove, that you failed to report. We hadn't seen you for months, then you didn't show up for the hearing, you just got arrested by happenstance. So that one would not be very hard to prove. Second, you didn't pay any fines and costs. That same thing wouldn't be hard to prove. Third, that you didn't test because we didn't know where you were, didn't test you. So are you willing to admit that you violated those 3 terms of your probation?
Yes.
Anybody threaten you to get you to do that
No.
or promise you anything?
No. No.
All right. Well, tell me what's going on now.
As of now, well,
I mean, are you working somewhere?
yes, I am working for Layman Transport. Like a handyman. I help load trucks and unload the truck for Amish runs locally in Indiana, Shipshewana area.
What town do you live in?
I live in Elkhart County.
All right. Who did you know on Dud Road?
A friend of mine was staying there and I had stayed the night there.
All right. Who is that?
Jeff Yant.
Okay. But your actually residence is Elkhart?
Yes.
All right. What else would you like me to know?
Layman Transport, Kenny Layman would be my boss. I help him do handyman stuff like load trucks and unload the truck for Amish runs. For the stuff that Amish can't move, we transport for them or pick up and drop for them. We even do locally runs with the Amish.
Well, let me ask you this, where did you go? Why didn't you come or ever come back here after last September, a bench warrant issued?
I didn't know I had the bench warrant. Okay, when I got out of rehab, at the Landmark, as soon as I got released from there, I thought I had gotten in contact with Dan to prove, like, to give him the paperwork that I did pass my course, my rehabilitation and all that, and sent him the paperwork that said that I recovered from there and got, the written paper from the PEZs that shows that I graduated. After I got released from there, like a couple days later, I find out that they had been permanently shut down, and there was a lawsuit being filed. I was a part of that, sexual assault and all kinds of things that were happening there. I was a part of that, so I spaced the fact that I had the probation to worry about, and that's my fault. Because I was so wrapped up with the Landmark being shut down and the lawsuit being filed.
All right, if I gave you a test right now, what would it show?
I'd pass.
No meth, no marijuana?
Nothing.
Marijuana is legal. Well, let's do one then.
Okay.
Hi, could you ask Autumn if she come up and do a test for me on Kayla Bond? Thank you. Bye. All right, we'll take a recess. We'll deal with our other matter. And we'll get a urine test and see what it shows. I'll be very pleased if it shows what you say. All right, let's take a recess in this one and we'll take up our other one. Ms. Hall, thank you for your patience. Ma'am, you'll be all right there? Okay.
Yeah, since the accident come back from Alabama.
Yeah, I saw that in your letter. That's from the accident.
And I filed for Social Security.
This is a time and date set for a consultation in the matter of Mike W. Ledyard, file number 232295 and 232296. These are civil infraction zoning violations. In these matters, there's another matter, 23478001, that was between the township and Mr. Ledyard. They sent a consent order which resolved those cases and the appeal, and that was signed by both cases. So what is left is 2295 and 2296, which has to do with just a consultation with the judge regarding the fines and costs that were ordered. Defendant sent me a letter dated July 1st and talked about some things that happened since we were last in court. They were in a bad accident when they were returning to Michigan from Alabama. They had some other issues, and And that resolved these. And then I set this matter for hearing on these cases. Now, let me look at my original order was I can't even read it, how much the fine was. Anyway, Mr. Ledger, you wrote me that letter. We had some other correspondence. And I set this for a consultation. It appears that you owe about $645 on this case. And I set this hearing for you to come in and update me on the situation. What is the current situation, Mr. Ledger?
I just filed for Social Security. And since before we got back, we're still in Alabama. Her daughter and son-in-law was living in our residence, not residence, but the barn that they knew they weren't supposed to. He knew this all along. I asked Mr. Hayden why they weren't arrested, because last time we were in court, he said if anybody is staying in that barn, they'd start out with 90 days to 6 months. I think that was what was said. And they didn't have permission. They broke into it, pillaged it, and we got them out.
Yes.
My brother took me over to get the minivan to get it plated insured, and they were all back there again.
Are they there now?
No.
Okay.
I just want to know if there's any way I could press charges on them for everything that's happened.
Well, a couple things. You could press trespass, which is a misdemeanor, or you could sue them for money damages in small claims court. Whether you can get any money out of them or not is a question. And what were those people's names?
Jeffrey Huff and Monica Huff and
Junior. Robert Huff Junior.
And their other daughter.
Jennifer. Smith.
And they're all out now?
Yeah. Well, as soon as the ordinance person showed up,
Where are you living?
I'm living in Howdy, and had her
That's what you
sisters.
told me. Well, as far as I was concerned, I was happy with it, even a $20 a month payment.
Okay.
It may take a while to do this. Can you pay 20 today? Yes. All right.
My Social Security is only $1,000.
Yeah, that's what you said, and you've applied for yours. And as long as there's at least some good faith effort to continue to pay on it. Yeah, some of this was outside of your control.
Yeah. I talked to Mr. Hayden. He said, since I own the property, I'm responsible for it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a similar circumstance in my neighborhood. Where there's an owner that owns it, and then the renter is doing all kinds of stuff to it. But ultimately, it's gonna land on the owner. But yeah, you didn't permit it. In this case, the owner is permitting it. All right, I'm sorry about all the terrible stuff that happened. But the township worked out that agreement. In the other case, we got this lingering large fine. But as long as you pay $20 per month, and if you can't send 20, send 10. Eventually we'll get this off the books.
As soon as mine kicks in, I'll pay extra.
All right, very good. All right.
We found a modular that I call her my mom, but she's not. Bonnie Myers got that dog grooming place
I've known Bonnie Myers for years.
Okay. I grew up with her and she
Okay.
found us a modular, so I gotta get with the township and find out what I gotta do to
And where is that?
their,
It's in Scott.
Put it in how? Put it on the Indiana side of the line. And I won't have to deal with it.
69794 South Nottawa Road, Sturgis,
All
Michigan.
right. All right, well, stay with Mr. Hayden and make sure you get that all squared away. All right, you have anything else you want me to know?
I just don't understand everything going like that. And they knew that the consequences, and I think they were just trying to get me to lose the property, the barn.
Property is posted now.
Yes.
And it was.
Before we went to Alabama.
Well, it's trespass. They can't just go on there and squat on the place. So if you could get the police to take a trespass complaint, they're not there now. If they come back, they're trespassers.
So
You could sue them for money damages, but I don't think you can get any money out of it. Yes, that's,
yeah, but they broke into the garage and I wasn't aware of that. And my Wi-Fi runs off solar power.
Mhm.
And Mr. Hayden, for some reason, the Wi-Fi that the Spectrum put through there, he pulled it out of the box outside, pulled the wire up out of the ground, went in
why is that?
there, 69794 South Nottawa Road.
Why they did it. Why they did it.
That runs on solar, so it can run our cameras and stuff.
Hmm.
Our security cameras quit working. When we did that, so we could monitor the property. We were denied putting the fence up because there wasn't a house there.
Yes,
Well, there's two separate deeds. This property was,
it's off and the property's unclear. It's sort of this, sort of that. But most townships won't let you reside in a barn like this.
No.
And they won't let you do things unless it's a residential property, and it's a target for thieves.
yeah, that's already been broken into, since we've been back. She found it and then I went and secured it with deadbolts and now I'm boarding it up and I got door almost done. The two windows that are left, I got them done.
All right, well, my advice is stay in contact with Mr. Hayden. Make a $20 payment today and there won't be any further consequence here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ledger. What do you need, Autumn?
I just need to talk.
All right, let me shut this off here for a minute. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd. One more summer like half day anyway here in Michigan. Beautiful morning, 55 degrees. Calm, pretty. We have entitled this arraignment because we have only one arraignment today. We had a couple of others and counsel filed appearance on their behalf.
Yes. Okay.
David Moore filed an appearance and waived arraignment, and that'll be set for a pretrial. We have one pretrial, so our arraignment is here on time. It's an ordinance case. We'll wait a minute for the city attorney to show up. Maybe we can resolve the case.
Your Honor,
Yes,
he's gonna plead not guilty and get a court-appointed attorney. He has a few fish he needs to fry here.
all right. Well, then we'll get to it. For the rest of the day, we have a consultation on a zoning case at 10 where the guy frankly didn't know what to do. We have several probation violation arraignments and hearings. I don't know how we're going to do all that. They set 4 in a 15-minute time slot. We have a landlord tenant trial that's set for this afternoon for 4 hours that I don't think is going to go. But it is blocked out the entire day. We have this gentleman and we have one other case, which is theoretically set for pretrial. Well, usually it starts to get cold here in about October. September can be a beautiful month in Michigan. Mr. Barnett, why don't you come up to the podium? Right there.
Oh, sorry.
This is file 251732 OT, People versus Vernon Lee Barnett. Mr. Barnett is here. Jeanette Jackson is here from the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Barnett is charged with driving suspended. It's alleged to have occurred on August 20th, 2025. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Ms. Jackson advised the defendant just wishes to plead not guilty. Appoint an attorney and set a pretrial.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you work for Cornish Construction?
Yes, Your Honor.
I gave Mr. Cornish what I think was his first job, his first construction job when he first moved to Three Rivers.
That was a minute ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a while ago. He offered, my son Lucas used to follow him around when he was about 7. And Mr. Cornish told him he'd give him a job in construction if he wanted one. And he did offer him one when he was about 18. So he was true to his word, but he didn't end up taking it. He went to law school instead, but I'm going to show that your live arraignment, plead not guilty. Appoint an attorney. Ms. Jackson, what's the issue here?
He's revoked and he has, felony probation possibility for a violation there.
All right, you're on felony probation now.
Yes, Your Honor.
So this could be an issue regarding that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll set the pretrial for October 3rd. 2025 at 8:30. Who's your PO?
It was Amanda, but she just changed me because her workload was an overload, and I forget the name. Because I'm originally from Allegan. I just moved here.
Or you transferred from Illinois?
I transferred from Allegan,
All right,
and she knows all about all of this.
very good. All right, we left the live chat on because we had just the one. Mr. George just arrived. This defendant has pled not guilty. He's going to get an attorney appointed to represent him. Set the pretrial for August 3rd at 8:30. I'll ask Deputy Bingham and take him down and get court appointed counsel. We do have one pretrial, Tyson McLean. What's that? October 7th. Did I say August? October 3rd is the first Friday in October. Thank you. I don't know if your pretrial is here, but that's the sum total of my arraignments this morning, Joe.
I don't think anybody else is here yet.
All right. All right. Good morning, Sarasota. Thank you, Mr. Barnett. I'll see you in October. And my friend's headed back to Sarasota today. All right, thank you, Ms. Jackson. We'll see what we're going to do with Tyson McCann, and then I guess Mr. George can get back to it. Milan, not Italy. Good morning to Denmark from Mr. George. Good morning. All right, well, that was pretty unremarkable. It was a kind of case, perhaps it could have been resolved, but he's on felony probation and that could affect his probation, and I'm not sure what else his status is. So Jeanette's thought was he would use counsel, so that's probably all right. All right, I'm gonna shut this off, not because I'm unwilling to let it run, but I don't think anything else going on right now. We have a pretrial at 8:30, consultation at 10, several probation violation hearings at 1. I'm gonna actually go do a site visit on a case here this morning. Take a drive out in the sunshine to look at something. But we'll be back probably about 10 o'clock. So thank you all for saying.
Have been,
I was just
Okay.
now reading it because for some reason I was looking at your other email chain and I was not able to. This is a different email chain with the court, so I probably not.
Thank you all.
Yes, that's looks good to me.
okay, thank you.
All right. This matter was set for 1:15, and my apologies. I blocked out the entire afternoon for a trial on this matter. The title of the case is Riverside Estates versus Amanda Boyer. Riverside Estates is the name of a small trailer park campsite place on Withers Road here in St. Joe County. They are represented by attorney Dana Hull from the Swistack Levine Law Firm. The defendant, Amanda Boyer, is present and she's represented by Megan Bauer. We had several previous hearings in this matter, dating back to June. I thought we were close to resolving the matter in August, but we weren't. I set the matter for hearing for August 13th. It wasn't resolved. There was an escrow order in place. I believe the defendant has paid. I wasn't clear. Escrow for, I think, June and July, but I don't believe escrow was paid for August. Anyway, the matter was set for a hearing today. This is filed as a non-payment of rent case. And defendant, which is a whole issue, whether you can file a demand for non-payment of rent case in a mobile home case, but I think this is lot and trailer. So the defendant raised a number of habitability issues, and I'm concerned about some of those at this park. And some photographs and other documents were presented. An exhibit list was presented today, but I'm advised by Attorney Bauer that a settlement has been reached. I gave Ms. Hull permission to appear by Zoom. And Ms. Bauer is here live with her client. So Ms. Bauer, what's the status here?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Your Honor. You are correct that there are 2 months paid into escrow. Ms. Boyer was prepared to pay the third month today, but we have, as you've indicated, reached resolution on the matter in the case. At this time, the parties have agreed to a conditional dismissal of the case on the terms that Ms. Boyer and her family will return the keys and vacate the premises on or before October 5th of 2025. And the amount of money in escrow currently should be released to the plaintiff. And the release of that escrow will satisfy the outstanding, account between the parties through the last day of occupancy, whether that be October 5th or earlier. Ms. Boyer does not want to stay there any longer than necessary in light of the positive bacteriological tests at with the water and the other issues that you referenced on the record. The parties have agreed that the security deposit's not contemplated by this agreement, so it'll be handled in the ordinary course. Ms. Boyer will follow the security deposit law or the Landlord-Tenant Relationships Act with regard to her forwarding address. And the case is to be dismissed now on the condition that Ms. Boyer and her family follow the terms of this agreement. And as long as they remain vacated from the premises, the case will stay dismissed. However, if the tenants have not vacated on or before the 5th, then on or after Monday, October 6th, the plaintiff is free to file an affidavit of default, request reinstatement of the case, file an affidavit of default, and ask the court to enter an immediate judgment of possession and sheriff's order to be immediately issued to Sergeant Morse or the sheriff of plaintiff's choosing. However, if the court is not satisfied that Ms. Boyer has defaulted on the terms of the agreement, then the case is to remain dismissed.
Ms. Hall, do you hear everything that Ms. Bauer said? And you agree with that? If she vacates by October 5th, case will be dismissed. Effective today or tomorrow, the escrow funds will be remitted to the plaintiff, and that will resolve the case. I couldn't hear you.
I said, yes, that's our agreement.
All right, thank you. Ms. Boyer, do you understand that if you don't vacate, you'd be subject to immediate eviction?
Yes.
Now, I went out there this morning. Actually, I did 3 things in that neighborhood. I also viewed a garage that's being built without a permit and another problem property in that same vicinity. So I killed 3 birds with 1 stone. There were 5 cars at your lot. Are you in lot 22?
Mm-hmm.
It's the last trailer on the end. Yeah, there were a bunch of cars parked there this morning at about 10 o'clock, 4 or 5. And Ms. Hall, I had invited one of your colleagues to come view this property. I think you'd have a new perspective on it. I suspect every one of those taps is full of E. coli bacteria. That park has been there as long as I've been alive. Everybody is flushing their toilet out of the same groundwater where the wells are. As far as I could tell, there's no sewage treatment facility. There's a couple of outhouse kind of bathhouse things. Anyway, so I think there's some serious issues with the sanitation there. But by this agreement, we don't join that issue. You simply agree to vacate.
Yes.
Now, frankly, you should have vacated a long time ago. The sooner you get out of there, the better off for you. But I had this situation, I mentioned this more than once here on the record, of another place that I call the health department. And they were reluctant to go condemn it and make everybody that was there homeless. It was a larger park than this. But I suspect the problem you had is with others. But as I said, there were how many people are living there?
Me and my 3 kids. So
do you know who all the other cars were?
And I'm the only one that's got the vehicle there. There's a burgundy car there, but there's a green van behind me. That's where other people live. And maybe across the street at a yellow house, but
this is as you go around the curve at the bottom of the ravine there?
it's not at the bottom. It's like when you pull straight in, you go straight back and you can turn and then
Yes.
you go down. Yeah.
It's
not
lot 22, the last trailer in
Yep.
the row.
on the right.
Yeah, there were 4 or 5 trailers parked there, or cars parked there. So maybe they went to the adjoining lot or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
There was some sort of dilapidated structure in the back, like a shed or something.
It did look crowded when I was there, Judge.
But I think it's just where it's so small. There's like no space. You got a truck here, a van here, my vehicle here, one in the driveway, and then,
Well, you're gonna leave the property.
yes.
I was told there was 2 $400 payments, but I don't think that's right. Rent is $9.95 per month. I think you made 2 installment payments of $9.95.
That's correct, Judge. I don't have the receipts printed, but Ms. Boyer did send me
Are we talking? Yeah.
the escrow, yeah. It was in multiple portions, but I think that has to do with money orders being limited.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Does anybody have the order, or you gotta present it to me?
I have an order right here, Judge.
May I see it?
Absolutely. May I indicate one additional thing for the record, Judge?
Yes.
There is an additional named defendant, Mr. Alan Freshour.
Yes.
I told him that because we had reached settlement and he was represented, and to avoid losing his job, that it was better that he attend his work again because he was represented. So he has consented to the terms of the settlement as
All right,
well.
it's Amanda Boyer and all occupants.
yeah.
And this
I have
order
the-
says Amanda Boyer et al. All right, it's signed by
Okay.
Megan Bauer, Amanda Boyer, on the record for Alan Freshour, and Miss Hull, formerly, you're now Dana Holm.
Depends on how you ask, I guess. My maiden name is Holm. I'm going back to that. The state bar hasn't changed it yet, so it's,
I'll call you by what you prefer, but I've known you as Dana Hall. And we have your consent on the record to this agreement?
yes.
All right, you have a little more than a month to vacate, which I certainly encourage you to do.
Judge, I'll indicate that Ms. Boyer has been diligently working and has something in the works.
Good. All right, Ms. Hull, thank you. And I'm glad I didn't drag you all the way down here for this settlement, but I know you and your firms have been working on settling this. But you've heard my concerns about this park. This issue is gonna come up again.
It is, Your Honor, I've never dealt with this part in particular. However, I haven't seen the well water gets tested weekly and there hasn't been, to my knowledge, a bad test coming back, except I think there was one in July and then they tested again the next day and it was fine. So if anybody has one, I'd
All right.
like to.
Maybe there's more to it. But okay. Anyway, this case is resolved. We don't have to join that issue. I'll give you the file to the bailiff. I'll take you get a copy of the order of conditional dismissal. One way or the other, you're gonna be out of there by this October the 6th. And that's good for everybody concerned. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'm all set then. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Hall.
Thanks.
Uh,
That's fine, I was just gonna say the same thing.
this goes with that. All right, we're gonna return to Kayla Bond. Stop the record. The live feed is still on. All right, defendant did. Mr. Faison, what do we know about the test?
I was told that it was all negatives. It did look diluted though, but tests all showed up negative, so.
All right, I guess we'll accept that. Well, that's a plus. So in light of that, Mr. Faison, what's your recommendation?
Well, Your Honor, I had noticed several conversations I had with Ms. Bond about the landmark, and she left there to go to the spa, and then I got some correspondence from or spoke to on the phone, the person from the counselor from the spa, who said that she wanted to leave there because she wanted to be closer to her children. I don't believe at all that she was confused about the program. It was very clear with the paperwork that I would have given her from the probation. She did just leave regardless of what happened. She knew she was on probation. She just left, and then when she got bonded out, she didn't contact me. When she was talking about how she got arrested in Cass as a PO, I hear, well, they didn't have any probable cause, and they wanted clean.
Yeah, she wasn't very repentant or
Yes,
sorry about it.
and I heard a few excuses coming out here, so it makes me concerned since we never had any tests. And unfortunately, I have 5 almost identical situations with females with a meth that went to facilities and then just said, well, I'm doing great for the last year, 2 years, 4 years. And all we have is their word. She does look better than her photos, her past photos. So I'll give her that. And it was negative today. And I'll give her that. But the fact of the matter is she had a probation. It was specified that she was to go there. And this started off as a felony. And it was enough to where the judge held 81 days over her head. My recommendation, which obviously is up to the court to decide on this, is just to do the 81 because I believe that's what she would have gotten. And I have not seen anything that's contrary other than the 21-day program she did at Landmark. That could be taken and, weighed against the 81 days. But other than that, she just blew out probation.
All right, Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Well, first off, Your Honor, I'm going to leave any discussion about the treatment to Ms. Bond. She has some information she wants to give the court to that. But what I had a case that was similar to this about a month ago, and I think that, what Dan said is right. I mean, she looks better, she presents better. She's here 20 minutes early for her hearing, which isn't nothing. She reports that she has a job. She gave me her boss's name and phone number, which is, I think something where if the court wanted to confirm that she's doing that work, she gave me a phone number to do that. She seems like she's proud of that work. And she just got her 9-year-old son back in her care. So in a lot of ways, I think the goal of the probation is to see what the end result of Kayla would be if given this course of treatment. Now, obviously, there were orders in place. She didn't follow them. She acknowledges that. She kind of fell off the map for a bit. I'm not aware, and the court and Mr. Frazine would have more access to this information than I would, of any new criminal charges in between now and then. I know there was the stop that was concerning, and there are some flags. I can't deny that, but I think she's overall in a better place now than she was before. That doesn't negate that she, didn't follow the terms of this probation, but I think it is something that the court can take into consideration. I don't know if she was bonded out right on the 20th when she got over here, but she would have 16 days to her credit. I'm just concerned that, if we were to just do a flat jail sentence of the deferred time, some of those gains that she has made would be lost. And, I don't want that for her. And, I know that she doesn't want that for herself. So we would just ask the court to take that into consideration. If the court does want additional jail time, I think we could, schedule that so that she could let her employer know and be able to maintain that employment while making sure that there are accommodations for her son to be taken care of. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Bond, you did Landmark, which was, I think, 21 days. And you were going to do the spa, and that was only there for 3 days, and then we lost track of you.
I never checked into the spa. I was
Okay.
only at, okay, this is what happened. I know what he's talking about now. The first 3 days that I was at Landmark Praxis, which is the same thing, same name. the first 3 days, I was going to walk out the doors. I remember this all too clearly. One of the Pez's had called Dan and put him on the phone with me on speakerphone because I was ready to walk out of there. And he told me that if I didn't turn back around, I'd have 1 year in jail. So I said, okay. So I turned back around and I finished out my 23 days at Landmark Practices. I was never checked into the spa ever. That was a whole year program. And I ended up finding Landmark in place of the spa.
No, this case was a 22 case. You had a meth charge in Cass County in 23. What happened to that case?
That I'm not sure of. When I just got picked up, there was nothing about it. I have no idea.
You had a prelim scheduled in a methamphetamine case in Cass County. At about the same time you were gonna go to treatment.
And they knew I was going to treatment because Attorney Hogue was speaking with my navigator and stuff also.
Well, and then you just got arrested in Cass County.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ask Jenny to run a new criminal history? See what this shows, or Lupita? Obviously, if they had a bench warrant for you or something, they would have addressed it.
Right.
Now, your story is a little shaky. You're driving down Wood Lake Road.
No, I was driving past it.
Past Wood Lake.
And the officers were sitting there with all their lights off on Wood Lake. And as soon as I passed them, they flipped their lights
All right,
off.
that ain't on the way to anywhere. How did you?
Towards Dud.
What?
Towards Dud Road.
Yeah, but you were coming from the south headed north?
I was coming from the Shell station and turning pop cans in.
All right, in Jones.
Jones, yes.
Now they call that roller coaster road because it goes like this. Wood Lake is actually a Three Rivers address, but it's in Cass County. It's on the Cass County side of the line. Okay, so you went to the Shell station, then you were headed north on Wood Lake Road.
Off M60.
Off M60 to go to Dud Road.
Past Dud Road, on the right-hand side was 11151 M60, which is the address where I was staying at for the night with Jeff Nett.
All right, now where did you come from before you went to the Shell station?
From there.
Okay, so you went from where Jeff Went was to the Shell station
Where
and
Jeff
back.
was to the Shell station and was going back towards that address where Jeff was. Yes.
Do you have a valid driver's license?
No, I didn't.
So did you get a DWLS or something?
They gave me a civil infraction with 3 points on my driver's
What was the
license.
civil infraction?
That's all they called, that's all they said it was. I have to pay $170 to them in 45 days.
Well, we'll find out what that is. All right, how'd you get here?
My daughter, she's outside in her car.
All right, one of your concerns was your son.
I do have my son.
All right, he lives with you?
He does
Because at
now.
one time you were living in your car.
Right.
All right,
I've progressed a lot since
all right,
then.
where do you live?
1613 Grant Street
In Three Rivers?
in Indiana,
What town?
Elkhart.
All right, well, let's make sure she didn't drive here.
And Your Honor, and Paul can go, but I went out and told her daughter, she told me what she was driving and.
All right, so she's out there, all right.
She's out there.
Okay. Then the other concern I had was you just stopped showing up until you got arrested. And then as I said, Wood Lake Road goes like this. It's straight, but it's very hilly. So it's not a good, I'm not sure why they charge you with fleeing and eluding. So how far did you go?
Barely a half a mile.
And then you pulled into where?
I pulled into 11151 M60, where Jeff and I was staying, where I was staying the night at. I shut the car off, put my hands behind my back, or got out of the car and put my hands behind my back.
And you figure they were gonna arrest you for fleeing or for this warrant?
For the fleeing and looting. I didn't even know I had a warrant. Cause I completely spaced all the probation and all that stuff. But I've been doing very well. I've got my son full care. My daughter helps me with him when need be. I have a job and I love it. It's great. As far as the probation and being able to pay off the rest of the balance, I would have that paid off by next week. And I will report, I will drop for the drops. I'm on a different level, honestly. I feel so much better about my future, having my son back, having my daughter in my life. The drug is I don't want it. I like being happy in life anymore. I love having my kid back. And having a job and making the money and actually doing things with my life happily. All I'm asking is just to see this through, and I will prove it. I'll abide by all of it and do what I need to do to complete it if given the chance.
Well, my radar went up when you mentioned Mr. Yant. He's been struggling with methamphetamine himself.
Yep, and I'm no
So
longer
he's got
anywhere near him.
Well, this was just, so in August,
Yeah,
you were staying with a guy
I
who's,
was staying the night with him.
and he's been struggling with methamphetamine himself. I think he's either on probation in circuit court on a meth case or pending a trial.
Oh, I'm not sure about all that, but I
Right.
know he does have a problem with the methamphetamine and
Well, why would you get that close to the flame?
I had no idea until the guy who was living at the property who
Or
was
who
staying there.
owns this property?
Begley owns the property, but I guess they were squatting at this property.
Yeah, that's my fear. It sounds like you were at a meth house.
That's what it felt like. I was staying the night there. I didn't even get to stay the night there though. I ended up arrested.
Well, why stay there?
I had no idea it was like a squatting place or anything like that at all. And then like when I seen it all, it's like, okay, something's not right here. I didn't like it at all, the way it made me feel about being there and everything. So
Well, why not just be at home with your son and Elton?
I didn't have him at the time, at that moment. Like he was with his dad.
This makes me nervous.
I promise.
I don't think
I
you're over the hump.
I will do right by this, all of this.
She said the refresher on base that's in there, it looks, as near as I can tell, last thing I saw for Cass is that meth from 23 was bound over and that's just sitting there. And they did now the fleeing and eluding charge. And that's as far as I looked. I don't think I missed anything. But it still looks like there's something going on with that, as soon as I can tell from the looks on the lean. From the 23 meth case, which would be weird. That's where they picked her up at.
Shows our case. There was a knife that got dismissed. And the fleeing and eluding shows from Cass. And it shows that your Cass County meth case was bound over to circuit court. And you don't know anything about that?
No, nothing.
Well, let's find out. We'll take another recess here and find out what the status of that is.
Want me to go call on that judge? Or-
Yeah, why don't you maybe go Cass County Prosecutor's Office? All right, Ms. Bond, we'll figure out what the deal is with that, because you were supposed to go for a prelim. And they can't bind it over unless you were there either with a waiver or a preliminary examination. But that shows that was a charge. It was bound over to circuit court. Do you remember going in front of Judge Renfro?
No,
Do you remember going in front of Judge Herman?
no, I remember, Hoag was my attorney. And he got in contact with my navigator at the, landmark.
All right. Well, as I said, it seems like if they had a bench warrant or something for her, they would have dealt with it
Right.
when she was there on this fleeing and looting charge. But that makes me nervous. You're at a squatter house with a bunch of meth users. You're driving on a suspended license.
That was
You're
all
running from the
prior.
cops. The whole thing makes me nervous.
But I'm doing so much better now. Honestly.
Since when? The 4th of August?
Well, even prior to that, I was doing good. I'm working on getting, and I had my son and everything. I mean, I didn't even stay the night at that house. I
Yeah,
got
'cause you went to
arrested,
jail.
but I wouldn't have wanted to stay there.
I don't even know
anyway.
why you were there in the first place.
I
I'm
don't
glad you
know.
didn't spend the night there.
Yeah.
Who knows what was going on there? That's just playing with fire, asking how soon till I get burned.
So I got my son back and.
You got your son back. You
And a
keep saying that.
job
If I
and
put you in jail for 82 days, then maybe your son will stay with his dad while you're out at a flop house with some meth users. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here. It was a felony charge when you were on, you had another felony charge pending in another jurisdiction. You were found with a quantity of methamphetamine, you had a knife in your possession. They dismissed the CCW charge. I reduced the felony to a misdemeanor. I put you on probation and deferred a big portion of the jail. You paid me back by absconding for a year. And you only got arrested by accident because you were someplace where you probably shouldn't have been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you have a felony charge that may be pending in Cass County and you don't know anything about it. All right, let's see what Daniel can find out. I'm signing some orders here while we're waiting, and it's just really exciting to watch. But I figured I'd use this time while we wait. Maybe that case is dismissed, maybe it's pending trial. If it is pending trial, you don't seem to have a good handle on it. And again, it's awfully old. It's from 23, it's now 2025 in the last third of the year. Mr. Bush, I mentioned, was gonna give up representing Memory Lane, Mobile Home Park. He did a good job for them for a long time. And they've got new counsel from Southfield. I'm signing a lot of substitution of attorneys.
I think it's payback time.
Well, I don't see that, you have so many conflicts representing Three Rivers and Sturgis, but these are, don't seem to be in the pile. Jordan, Harden, and Ives. Ross. I will say you do get some not great cases as your paybacks. I think they save up the worst ones and say, well, we'll give this one back. Oops, I think I nexted it before I signed it. Jenny, I think I nexted one of these before I signed it, so I have to put it in the queue again. I do two things at once. If nothing else, Miss Bond, we'll find out whether you do have a case pending over there or not, so we can get you up to speed on it. But I would be surprised if they just let it linger on the vine like that for 2 years. Something must have happened with it. All right, thank you. Mr. Faison has returned. What did you learn from Cass County?
Prosecutor forwarded me over to their circuit court. He is looking into it. He has my phone number. He says there should be an active warrant. She failed to show up for a jury trial over there. And he thinks something got missed in lien. She should have never been released from their jail. So he's gonna call me back, but he's gonna try to get that fixed so that her failure to appear bench warrant will be active in lien. Cause I told him that she was here at the courthouse and he said he wanted to get this taken care of and he'd be calling me back momentarily.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bond, I'm gonna get off your back. I'm gonna give you credit for the days you spent from August 4th to the 21st, which is 17 days. Looking for the original judgment, see how many you had at the front end. You had 9 days plus 17 days, which is 26 days jail. I'm gonna waive all your fines and costs. You don't owe me any more money. I'm gonna revoke your probation. And unsuccessful discharge. So no 7411. I'm gonna order 30 days jail, credit 26. I better make it 33. Credit 26. Leaving 7 days to do with good time. That'll be about 2 days. And you're going to jail, and then Cass County's gonna get their ducks in a row. Either they have an open warrant for you or they don't. Apparently you failed to appear on a jury trial and slipped between the cracks over there. So there's no sense for me to, if they don't pick you up, you'll get out in about 2 days rather than 82 days. If they do, you'll go to Cass County and you can perhaps post a bond there and deal with your charge from 2023. All right, you're good to go with the officer. You got 33 days, credit 26, leaving 7 days to do minus good time. You get 5 days a month. So you got about 3 days to do. And in the meantime, Cass County can determine whether they have a warrant or not. If they do, they'll come pick you up. If they don't, you'll get released. I waived any money that you owe me. All right, good luck, ma'am.
What's happening?
Thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, we'll stop our live stream. We'll be back in the morning on arraignments. We have a lot.
All right, let's talk about that. This was one of those marathon afternoons in Judge Middleton's court where you get a real mix. People who don't show up, people who show up with every excuse in the book, and a judge trying to keep the train on the tracks while still giving everyone their due process. His style was, as usual, calm and patient, but never indulgent. He made room for explanations, even when those explanations wandered, but he wasn't afraid to pull things back to the facts. We started with Keith Caldwell, who didn't even appear. That left Judge Middleton with no choice but to issue a no-bond bench warrant. When you're facing over 300 deferred days of jail time, not showing up is about the worst decision you can make. His attorney explained that Caldwell had been notified, even texted reminders, but still no sign of him. It was a textbook example of how quickly a situation can spiral when someone ghosts the court. Then came Edward Bird Becket, and this was a more nuanced situation. He admitted he hadn't reported to probation, but blamed it on grueling night shifts and long work weeks. His probation officer described him as treating probation like a nuisance rather than a commitment, and that rang true in his own words. Still, he'd done treatment twice, claimed sobriety for the year, and held steady employment. Judge Middleton acknowledged the effort, but pressed on accountability, pointing out that people always seem to find money when it's bail, but fines somehow remain unpaid. Ultimately, Bird Becket got a choice: pay just over $1,000 by a deadline or serve 82 days in jail. The judge's patience was balanced with a pointed reminder: you can't run your own program while on probation. The most complicated hearing involved Kayla Bond. She'd been missing in action for nearly a year before a chance traffic stop landed her back in front of the court. Her explanations were winding: rehab closures, confusion about treatment requirements, staying with the wrong crowd, and even a dispute about whether she was truly checked into a certain program. Her probation officer wasn't impressed, pointing to her absence and lack of follow-through, while her attorney highlighted the positives: steady work, showing up early for court, reconnecting with her kids, and passing a drug test that day. Judge Middleton listened to all of it, but remained cautious, noting her history of disappearing and the risks of associating with people struggling with the same issues she was supposed to be avoiding. In the end, he revoked her probation, gave her credit for time already served, and left Cass County to sort out whether another case was still hanging over her. She walked away with a short stint in jail instead of the long deferred sentence, which was a middle ground that reflected both accountability and recognition of recent progress. Throughout, Judge Middleton kept the courtroom atmosphere steady, firm when needed, occasionally humorous, but never dismissive. He reminded everyone watching that while life's circumstances can be messy, court orders aren't optional. Attorneys Strong, Gibson, and George all did their part, some pushing for leniency, some admitting defeat when clients didn't even show. But the judge carried the weight of sorting out which stories merited consideration and which just showed a lack of responsibility. All in all, it was a session that captured the balance between fairness and firmness. Some defendants missed opportunities, some just wanted probation behind them, and some still had a lot to prove. Judge Middleton managed it all with a steady hand, making sure the consequences matched the behavior while leaving the door cracked for better choices down the road. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.